Welcome
ยินดีต้อนรับค่ะ
Namaste.
いらっしゃいませ。ようこそ。
Welcome.
欢迎。
Bienvenidos.
Hello everyone and welcome to Save Mount Diablo's Moonlight on the Mountain. My name is Sean Burke and I'm the Land Programs Director for Save Mount Diablo and I'll be your host this evening. Tonight we are celebrating our 20th anniversary of Moonlight on the Mountain, and I wish we were all together here on the mountain, but we're doing our part to keep our community safe. All of us appreciate this mountain and we spend time recreating on it in different ways, whether we're hiking, biking, bird watching, riding horses, but tonight is all about coming together and caring and doing everything we can to preserve and protect this place that we care and love so much. We have some wonderful items available in our Moonlight auction this year, including lots of unique creations, inspiring adventures, and locally produced items and services, all donated by generous businesses and individuals from our community. So if you haven't had a chance to check out our auction yet, I highly recommend doing so. Tonight's event is also a fundraiser for Save Mount Diablo. In fact, it's our most important event for fundraising for the year. We depend on you, our community, to support the good work of Save Mount Diablo, and the gifts that you make provide essential operating support with which we carry out our shared conservation mission. We're grateful for every single dollar that you can give us. Thank you very much. To get us started this evening, we're going to begin with a few words from our fearless leader, Ted Clement. Ted, take it away.
Hello, my name is Ted Clement, Executive Director of Save Mount Diablo. I want to welcome you to the 20th annual Moonlight on the Mountain, where despite the pandemic, we can still come together, albeit largely virtually, for the Mount Diablo natural areas that we love so much. By coming together, we increase the momentum and resources for our time-sensitive land conservation mission, and we have more fun doing it together. This is a special Moonlight on the Mountain, as it is the 20th anniversary of this incredible event that brings people together and generates good wind for our land conservation sales every year for the last 20 years. I want to honor and thank Bob Marks, who came up with the brilliant idea for Moonlight on the Mountain all those years ago. And Bob still serves on our board of directors. I want to thank you all for generously supporting this special Moonlight on the Mountain at this critical time where our land conservation mission has arguably never been more important due to the climate crisis and mass species extinction event underway. We have also learned what an important refuge nature is amidst the pandemic. Nature can heal and inspire us even on the darkest days. I want to give a special shout out and thanks to the leadership sponsors for this year's Moonlight on the Mountain. Their names will be displayed with great gratitude during tonight's event. I also want to thank our wonderful volunteers, including our great board of directors led by Jim Felton in the event host committee. Further, I want to thank our very talented staff. Thanks to the great people who make up Save Mount Diablo, our staff, donors, volunteers, and other supporters and partners, our organization has enjoyed much success the last few years. We've been coming together with more types of people to get them better connected to our organization and nature, and that has really helped. So we have much to be grateful for and celebrate at this special 20th anniversary of Moonlight on the Mountain. Enjoy, and thank you again for coming together with us to generate even more momentum for our mission of protecting our beautiful Diablo natural world at this critical time.
Hi, I'm Paul Cratter. I'm an artist. I've been doing this professionally for 40 years almost, maybe a little bit more, and plein air painter for 20 years. This is going to be an auction piece, sunset view of Mount Diablo. I've been up here countless times. I've probably done 100 different paintings from different points of view, different times of the year, and it's always different and it's always spectacular. I live in Moraga. So it's a short drive. I see this, every couple of days almost, and it's just a wonderful place to to have protected for the wildlife, for the hikers, for the equestrian people, for bicyclists, whoever wants to be out here. So I hope this can raise some funds, much needed funds for a great cause. Thank you.
It's an event like nothing else you've been to. There is no other event that's on Mount Diablo. In 2001 was our 30th anniversary of Save Mount Diablo. We had a celebration of Save Mount Diablo at the Leisure Center in Walnut Creek with a orchestra and with Stephen Joseph 3D slideshow. A very, very beautiful celebration. And then over the next couple of months in our board meetings, we started talking about where do we go from here. In the future, we should have like an annual celebration / fundraiser. Everybody sort of bought into that, and then where would we have that, you know? And I thought if we had it in a country club or a hall or something like that, it would die a slow death. So in one of the board meetings, I suggested we do it outside on Mount Diablo.
Yeah. Well, I thought you were nuts.
Yeah.
I remember
And you
that.
still do.
That's true. That hasn't changed. But yeah, I think I told you that, hey, Bobby, guess what? There's no electricity up there. There's no water. How are the people going to get up there? How are they going to get back down?
I think we had like 100 people there.
125.
Is that what it was?
125 the first year. Yeah, all those logistic things the development community worked on. We worked on one thing after another. How do we get them up there? We had to talk one of the limousine services that driving up on Mount Diablo on dirt road and get their beautiful vans dirty.
Right.
That was not easy. Ron had a very close relationship with Cindy at Sunrise Bistro, so they agreed to do the food, and they've been doing it every year since, which is phenomenal. We had battery lanterns on the tables.
Yeah, right. I do remember.
Again, we
that.
couldn't
Yeah.
disrupt
My son, who was
anything.
like 8, helped Art Bonwell put batteries in the lanterns.
Right.
That was exciting for him.
Right. It was more like a backyard party than the event it is today.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so everyone who was a dedicated volunteer was involved in helping plan, in helping set up, in helping carry out the event, and coming back the next day to tear everything down. So the same group of dedicated volunteers basically did everything with our very small staff.
Well, you wear many, many hats when you're in volunteerism, and so we did a lot with the setup of the silent auction, the art walls that needed to be put up. I helped with check-in. We did check out via headlamps and paper and things like that, because there is no cell phone service up here, and then that wasn't as big a deal anyway. So it was there. You did a lot of different things all the way through.
But that first moonlight, the full moon rose at around 8 o'clock right over the flanks of the mountain. It was spectacular. It was probably the most spectacular moonrise we've had in the 20 years we've been doing this.
There's that sense of relief that people are having a good time. It was a celebration. People were enjoying oohing and ahhing when the moon came up, and enjoying the whole scene. So it's very special.
I think, like I said, Dave Sargent would get up there a week before and kind of prepare.
Well, there, in typical soil, there are cracks all over the place, and Dave felt a need to fill them up so people wouldn't trip, women with high heels and stuff. Right. So he'd spend a week up there filling up.
And the cows were on there.
The cows
were cleaning the cow pies off the.
Incidentally, this is my my Moonlight on the Mountain shirt.
That's the shirt you had for the first one.
I wear it every year to Moonlight on the Mountain, and that's
20 years.
That's the only place I wear it except for this filming. Yeah. Even now, what I think is most interesting is, or exciting, is when the buses pull out of the parking area and start going up this mountain. And of course, I know what to expect, but people that haven't been there before don't. And it's really, there's a feeling to that, you know, where are we going and what are we going to, and then they can see all those tables spread out.
Yeah.
And one of the benefits of having longtime volunteers and longtime vendors helping us is that the learning curve is lower. I've had the National Charities League bring volunteers every year, and so there's some continuity with those volunteers.
I think that the long-term volunteers have also contributed to the improvement over time too, just because you learn about different things. Nature often throws us a curve, and so we have to be very flexible.
I mean, there's an aspect to that where you get so involved in hoping that everything goes smoothly and trying to do what you can to make it go smoothly, that it's hard to step back and sort of take it all in. But you know, you look at this location and the mountain right there, and you know, you step back and you think, wow, this is a special place. This is a really unique event. There's nothing like it. It's a place to get together with friends and people you haven't seen for a long time, and talk about all the great things that are happening with the organization.
Every year I get a table and I bring new guests every year, all these past years, to expose them to this incredible event. And they just rave about it, and a lot of them then come back the next year or become donors or whatever. And how long it stays this as successful as it is, I don't know, but I think as long as this mountain's here, we're gonna have Moonlight on the Mountain.
Hi, I'm Stephen Joseph, and this is my gallery, Stephen Joseph Photographic Gallery. And I've been photographing Diablo for 38 years, and this is some of the results. And I'm happy to donate my yew tree photograph to Save Mount Diablo. And I've been photographing yew tree for many years. It's one of my favorite trees on the mountain.
So we love mountain biking on Mount Diablo, partially because we like to get out and it gets us further out than just going for a hike. But there's places on Mount Diablo that you can get on a mountain bike that you just can't get when you're hiking. One of our favorite places to go is up here up at China Wall, and then we circle down into Pine Canyon. Coming down through Stage Road, one of the most beautiful places on the mountain. It's just incredible, and it's a great way to wake up in the morning.
We started off riding a couple times a week. We're up to about 200 rides a year now. That's how we start our day and our weekends. And for us, it's like having a national park in your backyard. It's really special.
I love coming here to Mount Diablo, rock climbing, whether it is here in Pine Canyon or the other side in Boy Scout rocks and other rocks around as well. I also come here with my family. We enjoy camping. There are multiple amazing sites for camping here. This place holds a special part of our life. I come here very frequently to meditate and enjoy the nature here.
What I love about Mount Diablo is the great amount of biodiversity that's found throughout the region. I think a lot of times people will walk through and look at all of the trees and not even realize the amount of time it took to make something like this. Like, all of these different species were created over millions and millions of years, and all of that is worth protecting for everyone to enjoy. I think that with all these people going through, then the more that they see these plants and animals, the greater they will appreciate them. And with what Save Mount Diablo is doing, it is playing a very important role in that, in protecting it, conserving it, and restoring it so that these species may be able to survive and thrive.
So we're so blessed to have Mount Diablo here in our backyard that we can ride our horses on. Our horses love to be out here on the mountain. They much prefer to be out here than riding around in circles in the barn. I grew up riding on the mountain, and I'm so blessed that it is still here 20 years later for me to ride on.
I love Mount Diablo for trail running. I'm getting pretty old now, and it's hard to run uphill, so I like all the downhills, and that's what I like best about Mount Diablo, is going downhill.
I love Mount Diablo. There's no other place I'd rather photograph than Mount Diablo. I love the rolling hills and the rocks and the trees. Oak trees and buckeyes are my favorite things to photograph. I've been photographing about 100,000 acres all around Mount Diablo State Park and all the East Bay Regional Park District. And I love working with Save Mount Diablo to help create more open space.
We love hiking and birding on Mount Diablo. It's a very special place. I think throughout the year there's a variety of different types of birds. There's something majestic about seeing the peregrine falcons. I've seen lazuli buntings up high on the mountain, and to see a California thrasher calling is just pretty special. So Mount Diablo is a very fun place for us to hike. We like to mountain bike, but birding is kind of my favorite activity. And I think we all need to share the space together. We're all out there to enjoy nature, and that's what's important. Share the land.
Do you want to add anything?
Want us to do that?
Do you want to add anything? That was perfect. I mean, that was amazing. But do you have anything you want to add, or?
No, she said it all.
Okay.
I thought, yeah.
As I said earlier, Save Mount Diablo depends on the generosity of you, our community, to support our conservation mission. Our mission is to preserve the remaining natural land and biodiversity around Mount Diablo, defend the mountain, its foothills, and the connecting range from development threats and segmentation, restore natural habitats, wildlands, creeks, and wildlife through sustainable stewardship, and inspire our community to enjoy the incredible parks and open spaces and educational opportunities surrounding the Diablo Range. How do we implement this mission, you might ask? Through land acquisition and advocacy, by being good stewards of the land, and through outreach, education, and recreational activities that help people create lasting connections to the Diablo wildlands. I hope you make a gift tonight to help us support the great work we do here at Save Mount Diablo. Thank you. A gift of $25,000 can make a real, tangible impact on our land program. Acquisition is a key part of our land conservation strategy. Together with our partners, we have protected more than 120,000 acres and more than 50 parks and preserves on and around the slopes of Mount Diablo. This kind of work is all about knowing the land and maintaining relationships. Prioritizing properties for acquisition is an important part of the process. Understanding which properties are part of key wildlife corridors, which include creeks, streams and ponds, endangered plants, and wild animals, these are important portions to understand of this property. Every year, together with our land committee, which includes board members and volunteers from our community, we reassess the properties on our wish list and our strategies for protecting them. Knowing and maintaining good relationships with different landowners on the mountain is essential. You may have heard about our conservation easement that we're acquiring from the Conquer Mount Diablo Trail Ride Association later this year. It took us 15 years of building a relationship and the trust needed to initiate negotiations and create this successful partnership. We are currently in conversation with many different landowners on and around the mountain and are preparing, as we are always on the verge of our next land acquisition project. Save Mount Diablo's roots as an organization are in advocating for land, and we've kept that our focus of our work for the last 50 years. For instance, this past fall we worked diligently to pass Antioch's Measure T, and then in more recent months we have worked to defend that same measure in court. Development pressure in our region is strong and never ceasing, and our efforts to influence sustainable development to protect our region's natural and scenic resources are critical and ongoing. Your gift of $10,000 will help Seth and Juan Pablo, our land use and advocacy dream team, remain engaged in conversations, negotiations, and when necessary, important battles affecting land use across the Diablo region. Save Mount Diablo's educational programming is growing. Our Mary Bowerman Science and Research Grant Program, Annual BioBlitz, Conservation Collaboration Agreement, Discover Diablo programs continue to provide educational opportunities for students of all ages. This year, we are focusing on creating a unique place for outdoor education, the Mangini Ranch Educational Preserve. The Mangini Ranch is a beautiful 208-acre property located at the base of Mount Diablo next to Lime Ridge Open Space in Clayton. We are planning to open this property to the public by the end of March 2022. And we look forward to welcoming you there. And we've been preparing this area for you. We recently erected a temporary shade structure at the site. We've been working with volunteers and partners, including the Save Mount Diablo's trail dogs and local Eagle Scouts doing trail work, developing signage and installing picnic tables to keep everyone safe and comfortable and inspired. Your gift of $5,000 supports our ongoing educational programming as well as our work with staff, contractors, and volunteers to open Mangini Ranch for all. This preserve will be available for the public to reserve for free for group educational purposes, whether that's a high school class, a plein air painting group, a hiking group, a yoga class, you name it. Our goal at Mangini Ranch is to provide a place where people can explore, immerse, and build long-lasting, meaningful connections to local nature. A gift of $2,500 will help restore the land. Restoring protected lands to a healthy state is part of our responsibility as stewards, and enhancing the land not only benefits native plants, watersheds, and local wildlife, it also benefits our surrounding community. To do this work, we often work in partnership with local agencies, organizations, and wonderful committed volunteers from the Save Mount Diablo community. For example, right now on Mount Diablo, knobcone pines and manzanitas are dying off in massive numbers. Already more than 50,000 trees have been affected in this area, creating a huge problem not only for us, as trees provide us purified air to breathe, but also for many special status species like the Mount Diablo manzanita, the Mount Diablo fairy lantern, the Alameda whipsnake, and golden eagles, who all depend on this habitat for their existence. Save Mount Diablo is working with local specialists to understand this tree die-off and what's behind it, and we're sharing the results of our research with our collaborative partners, the California State Park and East Bay Regional Park District. Everything we learn through this work will inform our restoration and stewardship efforts for these areas. We've been working together with Lindsay Wildlife Museum to help support the local American kestrel population in the Mount Diablo area, which has been decreasing steadily in recent decades at a rate of nearly 70%. In the past 2 years, together with our partners at Lindsay, we've released 33 kestrels into the wild, and we've been doing lots more to ensure their survival, including building and installing kestrel boxes on trees across many of the properties and open spaces in collaboration with the Kestrel Campaign. This provides habitat for these special raptors, and through these efforts, we have seen dozens of kestrels fledge, effectively increasing their populations around the greater Mount Diablo area. Save Mount Diablo Dirt Days are also incredibly fun volunteer restoration days, where participants can lend a hand and connect with land through a variety of stewardship projects. Together with our volunteers, we remove invasive species, plant California native plants, cage young trees to protect and support their continued growth, and so much more. During 2 recent dirt days, our volunteers caged 179 young trees. This effort is also helping Save Mount Diablo reach a goal set by our new 10,000 Trees and Plants program, through which we hope to plant and protect 10,000 California native trees and plants, promoting carbon sequestration and the development of biodiverse habitats across the mountain. Save Mount Diablo monitors and cares for more than 2,700 acres of protected lands on Mount Diablo. Roxana, Haley, Denise, and I, together with our volunteer land stewards, the Save Mount Diablo Trail Dogs, Dirt Day volunteers, corporate volunteers, and middle and high school students from our conservation collaboration agreements, spend hours and hours pulling invasive plants, planting and caring for natives, spreading mulch, mending fences, removing trash, and building and maintaining trails, habitats, and wildlife corridors. We also work to complete fire abatement at the beginning of each spring. It's great, honest, and important work, and we love it. Your gift of $1,000 keeps us going. As Ted reminded us earlier this evening, we need to expand the community of people who know and care about the natural world. We need to open our tent and make space for all to know and love Mount Diablo. A gift of $500 helps to cultivate and grow Save Mount Diablo's community. Through our Discover Diablo program of hikes, bird watching, tarantula finding, botanical hikes, rock climbing, and mountain biking, as well as other experiences, that invite our community outdoors and onto the mountain. This year, we've expanded this program significantly and are hosting some Spanish-English bilingual activities. And through our Nature Heals and Inspires virtual programs, a necessity of the pandemic that has helped us grow our community in wonderful and unexpected ways. The beacon at the top of Mount Diablo has been a symbol of hope for our whole region during the first year of the pandemic, and it continues to serve as a symbol of hope and resilience today. Help keep this hope shining brightly by making a gift of $250. Your gift of $100 will help ensure the future generations can explore and enjoy the wonders of our favorite mountain, the magnificent Mount Diablo. Please make a gift of whatever you can tonight, and thank you for your support. We appreciate it.
Good evening, everybody. What a great evening. Perfect weather. We're looking across the San Ramon Valley at Mount Diablo, and I'm Seth Adams, the Land Conservation Director for Save Mount Diablo. I have the great honor of being here with my long-term friend, Bob Doyle, the just retired General Manager for East Bay Regional Park District, and someone who I met decades ago. We've been friends for many, many years. I actually have the distinction of having been hired by Bob Doyle over 33 years ago as the first employee for Save Mount Diablo, but his history goes much further. 50 years ago, he was a founding board member of Save Mount Diablo. It's our 50th anniversary this coming year. When he was age 25, he became president of the organization, a position he had for 11 years. He was on the board of directors for over 25 years. At the same time, he was working for the East Bay Regional Park District, and his career there started 47 years ago. 25 of those years were spent as the Assistant General Manager for Acquisition and Advanced Planning. And for the past 10 years, he's been the General Manager of his beloved East Bay Regional Park District. During this period, we managed to go from 7,000 acres of preserved land around Mount Diablo to over 120,000 acres. He made land use planning and advocacy a major tool in our tool belt of conservation practices. And we just had a dramatic growth in the size of the organization. Bob, everyone knows that John Muir is the most famous conservationist in the East Bay, but most of his work was elsewhere. It was up in the Sierras. In my opinion, you have been the most effective environmentalist in the East Bay's history, and you have had a bigger impact on the physical geography of the East Bay than any other individual. Whether you're going to argue with me or not, thank you for all of your work.
Well, thank you, Seth. That is just really a lot of things you dug up. And I have had a great impact on the landscape. I've dug a lot of holes in my tenure, fence post holes. But this is just a wonderful honor from a great organization, a really, really special organization. I'll back at you. I don't think that there's any organization in the East Bay and probably even the Bay Area that's had as much impact on advocacy, not just for preservation, but for getting the money to do the preservation. And you've been a great partner. Save Mount Diablo's been a great partner. It's been an honor to be always associated with Save Mount Diablo from the very beginning, but it's also been really just an incredible opportunity for me to use the skills I learned as a young man to benefit the East Bay Regional Park District. And I think that's something I'm extremely proud of, including something we talked about decades ago and never was made official, is connectivity. Before people were talking about wildlife corridors, before people were talking about connecting parks, almost all of the regional parks now connect, and almost all of them in the Diablo area connect and are the surrounding of what Mary Bowerman said, Dr. Bowerman said, my dream is a vision of preserving Mount Diablo and its foothills. So it's really great. This is a gas. This is fun, and I'm really honored to have this in my retirement and that recognition. And we'll let you go from there.
We appreciate that. I'm going to ask you just a couple things because I could list dozens of major accomplishments that Bob Doyle has been involved in, hundreds of projects, land use and acquisition projects, expanding every regional park that we have, over 70 of them. But I just want you to tell us, from the point of view of Mount Diablo, what's your proudest accomplishment related to Mount Diablo?
I think is the visual integrity of not seeing developments in the valley, but looking from or to Mount Diablo. You see this flow of landscape hills on a large landscape scale that blend together, and you would never realize that most of Sycamore Valley behind us is developed because those hills were preserved. I think that the surprise to me is when I started as a very young person, it was a very difficult time. There was no money, there was little support, there was little organization. Really, the East Bay Regional Park District was just starting as annexing in 1965 with all the great acquisitions by Hewlett-Hornbeck. But there was very, very little public knowledge of what was going on. It was just hard kind of steady work. And to see all that connected in a landscape visual, as well as it's accessible, it's wildlife full of endangered species and wonderful birds to look at, and it's beloved now by the public. And I think for me, the biggest reward, and I'll talk more about that, is how important parks and places to go outdoors have become to all of the public, not just our friends, our own community, our choir who we preach to, but all people now are enjoying, especially because of what's happened to this country and to our state on COVID.
I'm of the opinion that nature is the cure. I know you believe the same thing. You sound hopeful to me. Are you hopeful, and what inspires you?
Seeing what a small group, it's Margaret Mead's original quote, never underestimate what a small group of people can do. And Save Mount Diablo started as a very small group of people. Getting the East Bay Regional Park District into Contra Costa County in the 1964-65 happening was a small group of people. And just think if we could get everybody starting to get that nature isn't a frosting on the cake. It is the whole cake. And we really need to do that. And I think every generation has its challenges. My parents' generation was the Depression and World War II. My generation was, as I said, Vietnam War and all the social unrest. Great rock and roll, but a lot of social unrest. But every generation has its challenges, and I think there's a new generation of people. They're trying to figure out how to get organized. And what I learned from my wizards at Save Mount Diablo, who were my mentors, is you got to engage in government in a positive way. You have to be tenacious. You have to have courage to take on the negatives. You have to have courage to engage on something, that just isn't going to happen overnight. We're a very impatient society, especially I think some of our younger generations. They don't see it. It just takes a long, I can't believe it's 50 years. And it's not 50 years with the Park District. It's 50 years if you count Save Mount Diablo, it is. And I just think it's tremendous, and I am optimistic, but I also see a lot of failures and restarts, reboots, a setback, but you just keep marching forward with a bigger vision, and Save Mount Diablo's always done that. It was a joke early on that the legislators and state parks would say, "Oh, you seem to just keep expanding your priority every time we meet with you." And keep doing that, and you are. But the Park District has to do that, the government, federal and state, has to do that. And there was a lot of money that came to our area in the 70s and 80s, and it dried up in the 2000s. And we need to get the federal government and the state government back in the business of preserving and managing these lands. These fires it's not sustainable. We need to invest a lot more in our natural infrastructure. That's an example of natural infrastructure. Our water, our air. Those were the mottos back in the 70s, is clean air, clean water. You don't hear that as much anymore. You hear, oh my gosh, we're burning up. And I think we can address this, but it's got to be addressed at a scale that's much greater than any organization, any county, any area can do. But we are so blessed with this urban area that's pieced together in an incredible urban wilderness that's accessible. It's a miracle. And I just, one thing more I will say is that that's great. Thank you so much. Appreciate all the accolades. It was partnerships, it was friendships, it was relationships, from the legislature to state parks to federal government to local, that made this happen.
And we're going to look back on these last 50 years and we're going to know that this was a golden age for conservation in the East Bay, but it's not the last one to come. We have a lot more work to do. There's another third of the East Bay hanging in the balance. Will it be developed? Will it be protected? And so remember, Moonlight on the Mountain is a fundraiser. I'll use any means possible to help raise money for Save Mount Diablo, including you should do it for Bob. And on that,
please.
And on that note, for 50 years of work in the field of conservation with Save Mount Diablo, with the East Bay Regional Park District, with a lot of other organizations along the way, with a lot of people, as you've mentioned, Save Mount Diablo would like to honor you with a 2021 Mountain Star Leadership Award. Thank you, Bob.
That is great. Thank you, Seth. Thank you. It's truly an honor. It's a great organization. It deserves your support. It deserves you to dig into your pocket deeper than you ever have before. There are still really big challenges out there with pressure for development. And Save Mount Diablo spends a lot of money engaging in land use decisions so they make the right decision instead of the wrong decision. And that's why we have what we have, not just purchasing land. So thank you so much.
It's an honor.
Great.
We have lots of great auction items and experiences this evening, and here are a few of them. Stephen Joseph framed photo of Yew Tree Diablo. This beautiful framed photograph titled Yew Tree Diablo is by acclaimed photographer and former Save Mount Diablo board member Stephen Joseph. Look at the light behind the yew tree. It's stunning. The framed photo is 56 inches wide by 40 inches tall, and it can be yours tonight. Gourmet dinner at the summit. Enjoy a moonlit evening for 10 and a dramatic 360-degree vistas at the summit of Mount Diablo. Your party will experience an elegant multi-course dinner hosted by Save Mount Diablo and California Park staff and prepared on-site by a gourmet chef. It will be the dinner party of the year. 3-night stay and spectacular Timber Cove oceanfront home. Escape the city lights by spending 3 nights in a spectacular oceanfront home generously donated by Ann and Joe Roberts. This home is situated on 2.5 acres in Timber Cove on the Sonoma coast. The home is spacious with 2 master suites and 2 additional bedrooms and bathrooms, big enough for 2 families to share. It's well equipped with patios, a hot tub, wood-burning fireplace, and beautiful starlight. Bid now and plan your next escape to the California coast. 2-night stay at the McCloud River Preserve. If you're a fish lover, or if you love to fish, this 2-night stay at the Carrie Landreth Preserve at the McCloud River is what you've been looking for. The McCloud River, famous for the McCloud River rainbow trout, is a fisherman's paradise. The McCloud is one of California's aquatic jewels. Located near the top of California, north of the Sierra Nevada, and at the southern end of the Cascade Range, the river snakes its way down the scenic canyon beneath the rugged slopes of Mount Shasta. This cabin on the McCloud, generously donated by the Nature Conservancy, accommodates 4 people, and fishing on the river is a catch and release. Mount Diablo plein air painting by Paul Crater. Local painter Paul Crater has created this beautiful piece called Warm Slopes of Mount Diablo. Don't miss your chance to own this special painting, capturing the beautiful vista we all love and know so well. The oil and Linton painting is 11 by 14 in size. Hanging in your home would be a great way to pay homage to your favorite mountain. Birding at the Consumnes River Preserve. Treat yourself and 6 friends to a private, guided Consumnes River birding experience donated by the Nature Conservancy. The Consumnes River Preserve provides critical habitat for sandhill cranes and other migratory birds. Your tour will take you along the preserve's wetlands walk and adjoining boardwalk, an ideal habitat for visiting cranes and waterfowl. Next, you'll drive over on the preserve's Staten Island to see the lesser and greater sandhill cranes, tundra swans, white-fronted geese, and you'll complete your day with a picnic of a view of Mount Diablo at sunset. Located 20 miles south of Sacramento and flowing from the Sierra foothills to the San Joaquin River Delta, the Consumnes River winds through California's Central Valley. From September through March, thousands of endangered sandhill cranes roost and forage in the rice fields planted to attract them. The best time to schedule a tour in order to see the most migratory birds is October through February. Diablo Range Revealed Tour with Seth Adams. Mount Diablo is the namesake peak of the 150-mile Diablo Range, and Save Mount Diablo is working to educate the public about the spectacular rugged mountain range. If you'd like to get a closer look, grab 5 friends and join Seth Adams, Save Mount Diablo's Land Conservation Director, for a personal Diablo Range Revealed tour. Seth is one of the conservationists most knowledgeable about the Diablo Range and has lots of information and experience to share. He'll lead you through the heart of the northern part of the range and into the SCU Complex Fire Zone, where you'll see landscape regeneration in real time. This tour can be scheduled any time of year, but March through April are especially wonderful. Locations include Mount Hamilton, San Antonio Valley, Mines Road, and Del Puerto Canyon. The tour will start and end in Walnut Creek and will last approximately 6 hours, and box lunches will be provided for all. Private Curry Canyon Ranch Experience. Want to spend an afternoon at Curry Canyon with 10 of your besties? You'll be treated to amazing views, a delicious lunch, and an afternoon enjoying this spacious old ranch house. A member of Save Mount Diablo staff will lead your group on a hike, customized to your preferred distance and level of difficulty. Climbing experience at Pinnacles National Park with me, Sean Burke. Come climbing with me. I'll show you and a friend the ropes on an exclusive rock climbing experience at one of my favorite places, Pinnacles National Park. We'll check out the exquisite rocks and geology of the Gavilan Mountains, watch California condors, golden eagles, and peregrine falcons soar above, which is one of my personal favorite activities, talk about the beautiful and unique flora and fauna of the area, and learn about the connectivity between Mount Diablo, the Pinnacles, and the rest of the Diablo Range as we walk and climb together through the magical landscape. I'll bring you snacks, lunch, and beverages to help keep you fueled and sweeten the deal for the rest of the day. This outing is for all user levels, and the expansive area will provide for everyone and anyone to have a unique and excellent experience. Rock climbing is a fantastic way to connect with the natural world, so let's get out and have a great time together.
Hi, I'm Mike Frazier, president of Bedell Frazier Investment Counseling in Walnut Creek, and I'm also Nikki, Sam, and Brooke's dad. A sense of community is essential for nonprofit organizations. Support from like-minded individuals and business leaders provide the oxygen. Dealing with adversity tends to bring the bonds closer. The pandemic brought many challenges. Save Mount Diablo found creative solutions to carry on its message and purpose. It's our goal for that to continue in perpetuity. Bedell Frazier is so proud to be a supporter of this great organization. Now when Ted shared with me the REI statistic about kids spending less time outdoors than inmates in prison, I was shocked and wanted to immediately help with a solution. The goal was to get kids off their devices and into natural habitat. We collaborated with Joaquin Moraga Intermediate School and Save Mount Diablo to introduce the topic of conservation by getting students on the mountain. It was a pilot program which really took off. The thinking was bringing kids to Mount Diablo would expose them to the fresh air and natural beauty of the Bay Area and plant seeds in their minds. Without securing the appreciation and commitment of the younger generation to our environment, nature's at risk. We aren't willing to take that risk. We chose to take action. We're committed to that action.
On rappel, Sean.
All right, Frenchie, have fun, be safe.
Thank you. Will do.
Thank you so much for coming this evening. It's been an honor to come together with you in your homes and celebrate another year of Moonlight on the Mountain. Thanks to the Diablo Duo for providing beautiful music for tonight's event. A huge thank to all of our sponsors who have given so generously to help make this evening possible. Thanks also to the wonderful local businesses and individuals who helped donate for our auction. To give you a little more time to bid, we are increasing our auction times until 9 p.m. this evening. If you haven't placed your final bids, now is the time. Thanks to our board, the hardworking members of the Moonlight on the Mountain Host Committee, and all of the wonderful volunteers who helped us in so many ways to prepare for this event. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us tonight and being a part of our community and supporting Save Mount Diablo. Please share this video with your friends and family, as doing so helps build our Mount Diablo fan base. Please visit our website at savemountdiablo.org if you'd like to learn more about our projects and programs, or if you'd like to become more involved. Finally, I encourage all of you to get out and explore our local areas. Go to those favorite places on and around the mountain that you all love so much. Reconnect with them. Think about how fortunate we are to have places like these in our lives. Remember what it is that's so important about these places to you, and share that with others. We're all in this together. Thank you so much again for coming. I hope to see you all again soon, and have a great night.